Hello everybody, this is Tim here again, here another movie review, this time for VHS Beyond. Now this is another one of the VHS films. There's been like 5 or 6 of these at this point. I've reviewed them all up until now, and now I'm reviewing this one. It's hard for me to even remember what I thought about the other ones. I remember not liking the first one. I remember liking the second VHS movie. I remember thinking the third one was like alright or passable, maybe. I do remember not so much liking the third one, and I think I remember thinking the fourth one, either the fourth or fifth, I can't remember, but I have reviews for all the other ones, and now I'm up here to this one. This is VHS Beyond, which is more based around like science fiction horror themed stories, which is fine. It's intercut with like people talking about like evidence of UFOs and aliens and shit. I'm just gonna jump into the stories. It's hard for me to remember exactly what order they were in 100%, so I'm just gonna jump into them. In terms of like the first story we get, I do think it's the best one, and it's actually pretty good. It opens up with these like cops going to like kill these things or whatever. They've been kidnapping babies and shit, and they go there, and it's like this house full of like these zombie type creatures, which is pretty cool. And they go through there like blasting the shit out of them with the shotguns, and then one of them comes after this dude with a chainsaw, and he's like dodging it and everything. Of course, it's, you know, begs the question, why does he drop the camera? But it's all found footage shit. That's just a cliche at this point with found footage. It's just something you have to accept. But they're running around away from this chainsaw wielding one or whatever, and then he gets away from it, and they manage to shoot him down, and then they start getting back up, and one of the dudes grabs the chainsaw and takes them all out, and then they get up to the attic, and there's this creature up there who's in the form of like this mutant alien bird looking thing who like pecks people in the brain, and that's what turns them into zombies or whatever, or zombie type creatures. And it's like feeding goop or whatever, or the brains, I think, like to these infants or whatever, babies that it has inside these cribs, and they're like, the babies are like mutating into bird looking creatures too. And then they basically say, let's light this motherfucker up, and they start blowing the shit out of the bird alien or whatever, and it falls down, and then it starts to move a little bit, and then the dude comes back there and shoots it or squashes its head, which was pretty cool. Made you think it's going to be one of those things where, oh, it gets back up and starts rampaging again, and ends on a typical downbeat note like the majority of found footage. But no, the guy comes back and like finishes it off, and pretty cool. I believe it was like a stomp to the head, so that was cool. It doesn't have a downbeat ending. It's filled with action for the most part, and it goes by quick because it's fun. And yeah, this was easily the best. This was pretty good. This opening story this is easily the highlight of the whole movie. The second story, which about like, I believe it was about like this pop star who this guy like sneaks in so he can see or whatever and record, and he tells her not to let her manager talk to her like that and everything. And then he tells her that you can do anything you want. She's like, I'm tired of being a slave. And then you know this is going to go somewhere to where she's going to be some type of creature or something. But given this is more of a science fiction anthology, she like pulls her face off. She's actually a robot, which is kind of hokey. But at the same time, she gets up and is like, I will no longer be oppressed by humans. And she starts like killing all the humans and ripping their guts out and shit. And then the last guy who's left was the dude that she actually said she liked, who told her that you should you know, be in charge or whatever. And that's basically what inspired her to do her robot revolt. And she grabs him, she's like, dance with me, and she like pulls off his arms and takes off his face and puts it on, and she walks outside to the paparazzi like wearing this dude's face, and they're out there. And then basically the film or the segment cuts off as you hear them like screaming where she's attacking them or whatever. So this one was good for the carnage that we do get, but it's more basic, and it was kind of hokey, like seeing her like walk around wearing this dude's face over her kind of cheesy robot face. It's kind of hokey, but it works for what it is. I will say I thought the ending was maybe a bit basic. I did expect where she said she liked this dude or whatever, that she was gonna like take him and force him to be like her groom, you know. It's like how sometimes you get segments or whatever in movies, horror movies, where somebody forces somebody to be like their bride. I thought she was literally gonna force him to be like her spouse or something, but instead, no, she just kills him at the end and rips off his arms, which I thought, basic. And him ending as like her groom or whatever also would have been basic, but I feel like it would have made more sense. But yeah, this one was good. It was fine, this segment. I think the next segment after this is the one about a bunch of guys like skydiving or whatever. This had an interesting opening where they're all getting ready to skydive and everything, and there's interesting shots where they're all flying through the air as they're falling towards the earth or whatever. Kind of cool, like, camera work, and there's like an alien that's attacking one of the dudes, and you see it falling with him. Basically, they're getting ready to skydive, and I called it because I figured there'd be a UFO that showed up, and that is what happened. And you like see jets flying by where the military's like in a fight with them or whatever. The people skydive, they land on this like basically this orchard or whatever, a bunch of orange, like an orange grove. And they're trying to like run through them, and the dude's being chased by this alien that's like fell down with them, and it's like going after all of them, and it's basically its brain opens up in the middle, its head does, and shoots some kind of ray out that zaps their faces off, so it's basically killing them. And the last dude like makes it out to a truck. He kind of gets ready to get away, but the dude in it is like suspicious of him, so he shoots his thumb off, and then he gets attacked by the alien. The guy with the gun does, which is saw coming. And so at first I thought, well, maybe the dude would like grab the gun or something and shoot the alien in the face, but no, that doesn't happen. It just kind of like jumps back in there, gets ready to kill him, and then the aliens get called back up into the ship. The dude's trying to drive off, but he can't really drive the vehicle because he's missing a thumb. And as he's getting ready to drive off, the aliens come back basically, and they're like abducting the actual vehicle, and the vehicle, or the truck I mean, is like being floated up into space. And the last thing you see is like the dude like inside of it or whatever, and I think he's inside the ship at the end or whatever, while still being inside the truck, and it just kind of ends. I'm like, that's kind of lame. That one was like just all right. And then the next segment we get, which I believe is the last one, is this one about this chick or whatever who's like investigating like UFO sightings, I think, like out in the desert, and she finds like this shit or whatever with these UFO stuff, and she like touches on it, and it's actually like nanotechnology that starts invading her body and starts transforming her into like this lizard like alien, and she gets brought up into space with the aliens and everything, and the last thing you see is like her being mutated into a lizard like alien creature. And I was like, okay. That one was just okay, just there. But yeah, overall, altogether, this was decent. I'd give it a 2.5 out of 4. I liked it as a decent time killer. It's nothing special, but I didn't mind it.